Sometimes it feels yucky, like sleazy. All those marketing techniques, they feel like tricks. It feels like you're tricked into something. And as an entrepreneur, you definitely don't want people to feel the same about your brand when you're doing your marketing. Now, I totally get it, but there is another way of looking at it, and there is a way to use techniques that have proven to work and actually use them in your advantage without losing that authenticity, without losing that opportunity to really genuinely connect with your client. Hi, my name is Michelle and I'm your Brand Rebel Expressionista and the founder of the Be a Brand Rebel Academy. And well, in this video, I'd like to just take you back to a time when I was a copywriter. Back in the days when I was, telling all the stories and using all the techniques to actually help entrepreneurs, help brands sell their products, obviously I was using a lot of techniques that were needed to persuade clients. And what I encountered was that some clients, they really struggled. They struggled with the fact that, for example, mentioning the struggles that their clients are in and using that in copy felt for them like you're stressing the negative that way, and a lot of people do, or a lot of businesses do that, and that feels uncomfortable for me because we're a very positive brand. And maybe you know what I'm talking about here. Maybe you feel that same struggle. You would rather just focus on the good parts, on the positive, the benefits of your brand and of your product, and you don't just want to focus on the negative parts at all. And I get it, because back, when I was a copywriter, I would mostly emphasize those good parts as well. All right, so over the years, I have learned that there are a number of techniques used in marketing, especially neuromarketing, which has been very popular over the last few years, that work for a reason. Now, maybe you've learned about urgency, scarcity, which is a technique that was largely promoted in Robert Cialdini's book, Persuasion. And well, marketers and a lot of entrepreneurs have definitely read the book and they're still using the technique. It is not a bad thing. It is based on the principle that people want to avoid pain. And that is one of the reasons why, because we as humans, we have such a need to avoid pain, why a lot of marketers will make you aware of the current situation where you're at now, to make you understand that this is a situation you don't want to be in. And they will stress the consequences, the negative consequences of this pain, to make sure that you definitely don't want to stay in that situation and you want to move forward into a situation where you can experience a lot more joy and bliss and happiness using their product, obviously, or their service. Now, maybe you feel that is a little bit tricky or sleazy or whatever, using the brain and actually manipulating people. And I can understand why you would see that. But the fact of the matter is that as human beings, we are driven by emotions. No matter how rational you think you are, 95% of the decisions that we make unconsciously, on an unconscious level, because it simply feels right. The thing is that our unconscious brain is a lot quicker than our intelligent brain. So the part where we're thinking constantly. And that unconscious brain, it is there to protect us. So it needs to respond to danger instantly. Because back in the days, if there was some kind of tiger or a lion that was there to eat us alive, we needed to, either fight, flight, or freeze, or we'd freeze. Actually, we'd need to fight or fly, or flight. But, there were 3 of those responses possible. Now, we could never respond that quickly with our intelligent brain. It's just a lot slower. And because the brain wants to save energy, it's actually quite lazy, it will depend on that subconscious level, which means that, because we want to avoid pain and we want to avoid danger to survive as individuals, that is why when we become aware of certain dangers, it triggers something. We definitely want to avoid that. And that could be a reason to be persuaded into, for example, persuading a certain product or service. And even though that might feel like a trick or that you're manipulating people into that, because that's something that I've been hearing from clients a lot, I would like to suggest that you maybe look at it a little bit differently. Because here's the thing, let's just assume, and I'm just going to assume that you really have something of value. If you're sincerely passionate about that thing that you do and you really want to help people forward, then I'm going to assume that you are not selling any shit. It is not a fucked up thing. So you have something of value. And for that, there's nothing wrong with helping people decide, helping people in the process of making a certain decision. And using the brain, the knowledge that we have on the brain, using that to help people move forward is actually, serving them. You're helping them, you're serving them. Because, you might know it at some point. You might have been to that store where you saw that really cool leather jacket and you're like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Let me think about it. And you move on to the next store and the next store and you completely forget about the thing in the first place, mostly. Usually not deciding now means never deciding at all. So let's just assume that your client right now is struggling. They're in a bad relationship. They're in bad shape in their health. Maybe they're struggling with their business. And maybe right now they're on the fence. They just don't know what to decide. If you would not be using the tricks or let's say the techniques, it's not a trick, it's a technique out there to help them off the fence and into your solution, you're actually doing them a disservice. Because, if you're not just giving them that little bit of a nudge, just pulling them in a little bit, then chances are they're either gonna stay in their current situation or find another solution that might not be the right fit for them or be inferior, whatever. Of course, I will admit that sometimes the option still is good. The alternative might even be better, but there's so many people that, they need you to help them understand why it is that you can actually deliver value. And for that reason, for those people, it is so, you just need to make them aware of their current situation. A lot of people are not even aware of where they are right now. They just take it for granted. They take it for granted that they're struggling. They take for granted that the situation is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with accepting, but some issues that we struggle with on a daily basis can be solved. And how amazing and more joyful would life be if we can if we can make people aware of the fact that right now, this is something you don't have to accept. And this is something that, if you continue on this road is going to lead to, and then a list of consequences. But with our solution, we can take you to the next level. We can actually help you experience more joy, more abundance, etc. Now, having said that, if you're, for example, like me, I always see the good in everything and I want to experience a life of abundance. And for me to really tap into that pain sometimes is actually quite challenging because I tend to focus on all those good stuff. I'd rather just talk about all the positive stuff and all the benefits of what I do rather than, emphasizing the consequences of not doing that. If you're like me and you feel the same way, let me just emphasize that it is not a matter of either or it's a matter of and. It's both. So even though you're stressing the struggle and the pain that they're in now, and you're also stressing the consequences of that, please understand that you can at the same time also explain how your product or service is going to benefit them for real and how it's going to help them propel into a better future, how it's going to improve their relationships, how it's going to improve their lives. All of that is really possible as well. So you create a balance. Just remember that the brain is 3 times more likely to avoid pain rather than to gain pleasure. So play around with that a little bit and, see what feels right for you, for your brand, and really reframe the idea of, emphasizing the pain is not about you just, making them feel more pain the whole time. It's also about creating more awareness and giving them an opportunity to see where they're at now and see the opportunity of where they can be, the possibility thinking. Balance both, and you will have a marketing message that will, make people feel understood. Because when you voice that you understand their struggle, when you show them that you know their pain and where they're at right now, how great would it be for them to know that they're not alone, and to know that you understand their situation, and to know that, there's someone out there who can actually tune into that and solve that and help them move forward. So it's not all about that pain. Understand that, please understand that. It's not about being negative. It is about connecting with those people and making them feel that you understand them. Please share this message with anyone who needs to hear about this. Leave a like, a comment or tag people if you feel that this could be of inspiration to them. Please check our website, beabrandrebel.com, for any free stuff that might inspire you. And I will be happy to see you next time in our next video. Bye.